The following is a class on the Bhagavad Gita as it is, 8th chapter, text number 5, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on the 26th of October, 1966, in New York, New York.
There is a story. In a cow shed there was fire. So after that incident, the cow, as soon as the cow sees something red, they began to disturb. Oh, there is fire. Similarly, here, tasting the bitterness of so-called rascaldom, they think that Radha Krishna is a similar rascaldom. So when they have sent the file, did you ask?
I think 2 days ago.
Oh, then they might have received.
Yes.
Om Agganati Mijandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtyam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Sang Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Jita Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tang Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha Nitan. In the 8th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktya kalevaram japrayati sammadbhavam jati nastatra samshaya. Antakale means at the time of death. At the time of death, one who remembers me, Antakala mameva. Mameva. Mameva means, eva means certainly, and me means, mam means me. Certainly me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says, certainly me. That means Krishna, all Krishna's expansion, the form, not formless, mam. Formless, this is explained in the 12th chapter. Klesha udhita tarastesham abhakta shaktachetasam. One who is attached to the impersonal Brahma, then his business is troublesome. Klesha. Klesha means troublesome. Abhaktahi gati dukkham dehavadhi vapate. Dehavad, because we are in this material body and our senses are not able to understand except something form. So, if by artificial way I want to think of formless, it becomes a troublesome business. Actually, God is not formless, but His form is different. Everything has form. Without form, there is nothing. Even the smallest atom, it has got form. Just like in geometry, they describe that point has no length, no breadth. Because the point is so small that our measuring instrument fails to measure what is its length or breadth. Therefore, they give it up, that it has no length and no breadth. But actually it is not a fact. It has got length and breadth, but we have no instrument, we have no power to see. So, spirit soul is anoraniyanga mahato mahya. Spirit soul is the greater than the greatest and is smaller than the smallest. So we cannot see the smallest, we cannot see the greatest. Greater than the greatest, we can think of the greatest, the sky, the expansion of the sky, unlimited. But such skies, God is so great that innumerable millions and billions of skies are within. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Yassaika nissasita kalamathavalamba. Therefore, we have to refer to the authoritative scripture to get knowledge. As I told you the other day, that transcendental knowledge has to be acquired by oral listening. There is no other way. Just like practical. The geometrical calculation is that the sun, the dimension of the sun is many, many hundred thousands of greater than the earth. But we are seeing just like a disc. So our sense is unable to see how great it is. It is a material thing. So how we can see the greatness of God with this material eyes? It is not possible. As you are understanding about the sun by authoritative statement of the geometry that this sun globe is so great, so many hundred thousands greater than the... But you are seeing just like a disc. So how to get the knowledge of the sun? By receiving through the ear. That's all. Simply, you have to receive the knowledge from the authority. It is not that practically you are experimenting by going to the sun that it is so great and so long, so broad. That is not possible. You have to receive such knowledge through authority. That's all. So, even for material understanding, which is beyond our sense perception, we have to receive knowledge from authority. Similarly, we cannot understand what is God. But from the authoritative sources we can understand that God is so great. Just like in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that Yassaika nissasita kalamathavalamba jivanti lomo biloja jagadannanatha. You see this universe, and in each universe there is a predominating demigod which is called Brahma or Jagadannanatha, the master of the universe. That master of the universe is living only taking the duration of breathing of Mahavishnu. Just like you are breathing, inhaling and exhaling. So, when Mahavishnu exhales, innumerable universes come out. And when he inhales, all these universes go into his body. Just imagine how great he is, how big he is. That is not conceivable with our limited sense. But if we believe, then you get the perfect knowledge. There is no doubt. If you don't believe, there is no other way. You cannot understand what is God, or what is His length, what is His breadth. So whenever in the scripture it is said that God is without form, that means He has no form which we have got experience. But He has got form. That's the same example. When you cannot measure, you say a point has no length, no breadth. But actually it is not a fact. The point has length and breadth. We have no instrument to measure it. That's all. Similarly, as soon as we say form, we understand this form. Just like I am seeing your form, you are seeing my form. So, we understand that God may be a form. And because God also comes in this form also, just like Bhagavad Gita it is said, Avajananti mangamudha manusim tanumasita. Because I have come in the form of an ordinary human being, they are denying it. How he can be God? So many scholars, so many philosophers, they deny to accept Krishna, God. Why? Because He appears to be just like you and me, a human being. But God can appear in any way, because He is all powerful. He sometimes appears as fish, sometimes He appears as tortoise, sometimes He appears like a boar, sometimes He appears half lion, half man. Similarly, sometimes He appears man, sometimes He appears as woman. So, we cannot restrict God that He cannot be like this. He cannot come here, He cannot take any shape. No. He is not under my restriction. Then how God is great? If I put God under my restricted knowledge or limited knowledge, then God becomes under my understanding. But the Vedic language says, Abhanga manasu gochara, He is beyond the expression of words, He is beyond the conception of mind, He is greatest of the great and the smallest of the small. How He is the smallest of the, we are also, because we are spirit's part. Now do you know what is our measurement that we can find in the Shastra? I have several times mentioned that 1/10,000 part of the tip of your hair is the measurement of the soul. Now you have no instrument. You cannot measure even the tip of your hair. And what to speak of 1,000, 10,000 part of it? Impossible. Therefore, because you cannot find out by dissecting this body, where is that spirit's power? There is. But your present eyes cannot find it out. Therefore you say, Nirakar or no form. But actually, it is form. We get information from the Shastras, just like we get complete information of the sun glow from geography or from authoritative sources, scientists, astrologer, astronomer, mathematician. So, similarly, you can get information. What is the form of individual soul? What is the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? They are there. But His form is not like your form or my form. The Brahma Samhita says, Satchidananda Vigraha. His form is full of bliss and full of knowledge and eternal. But this body, our body, is neither eternal, neither full of knowledge, neither blissful. So we can distinguish what is the form of God. Satchidananda. Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. And Ananda means full of blissfulness. So this body is neither blissful, neither eternal, nor full of knowledge. It is full of ignorance and full of miseries and not permanent, temporary. So God hasn't got such body. Therefore, sometimes it is said in the Vedic literature, formless. Formless means the form which you can conceive at the present moment. God hasn't got that form. But when He descends, like you and me, that is His mercy. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chaduskritam. He comes just to being visible to our eyes. Just like this picture is not, it is not to be taken that He is not God, His picture. The picture of God is also God. Picture of Krishna is Krishna. The sound, name Krishna, that is also Krishna. But just to give us facility to understand, you do not think that this picture of Krishna is painted by some artist's imagination. No, it is not imagination. There is description in the scripture. What is the form of Krishna? Venum kannantam maravindadalayaksham Barahavatang samasitam buddhasandarangam Kandarpa koti kamaniya visesa soham Govindam adipurusam tamaham bhajami. Venu means flute. He is playing on flute. Venum kanvantam Aravinda dalayataksham. Aravinda means lotus, petal. His eyes are so nice, like lotus petal. Venum kanvantam aravinda dalayataksham Barahavatangsa. Barahavatangsa means the peacock feather. You will find Krishna and Vishnu, he is very fond of this peacock feather. Everywhere you will find the peacock feather. Barahavatangsa masitam buddhasandrangam. And his collar is a cloud, darkish cloud. Masitam Muda. Muda means cloud. Masita means blackish. Sundarang, but still he is so beautiful. Venum kanvantang aravinda dalayataksham barahavatang samasitam buddha sundarang kandarpa koti. He is so beautiful that he surpasses the beauty of millions of Cupid. Cupid is supposed to be very beautiful. It impels lust, Cupid. So he is many more thousands times that beautiful than Cupid. Kandatva koti kamaniya visesa sobham. Visesa, he has got his particular beauty. Govindam adipurusam tamaham bhajami. In this way, there are descriptions. So according to the description, these pictures are drawn. It is not imagination. So this form is factual, it is not imagination. The Mayavad philosopher, impersonalists, they answer the Bhagavad Gita's word that klesha adhikatarastesham abbakta sakta chetasam. One who is attached to impersonal views, their process of meditation or execution of spiritual activities is very troublesome. Now, therefore, Mayavad philosophers, they say that God has no form. But because you cannot meditate upon the formless, so you just imagine any form you like. The God is not subjected to your imagination. That is not God's form. If you imagine something and that has been degraded, Shankaracharya limited such imaginative forms to 5 only. 5. What is that 5? Vishnu, Lord Shiva, and Sun, and Ganesh, and Devi, Durga. He limited. Then any of these 5 forms you can meditate upon, you worship, and ultimately it is formless. But at the present moment, an authorized person has degraded in such a way that you can imagine any form. You can imagine even stool. They say like that. You see? So neither God is limited to any 5 imaginative forms or this form or that form. His form nobody can imagine, neither he is within our perception, but he is as he is. Param bhavam ajananta mama bhuta maheswaram. Therefore, we have to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead from authoritative sources. Just like the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself speaking, what I am. This is the science of God. If we take him as he is saying, then we become perfect and knower of God. There is no difficulty. But if we deny, then we are in difficulty. Those who have accepted Krsna as he is, God as he is, they have attained perfection also. That is practical. Not that we are. There are millions and billions followers of Krsna in India. Not only ordinary followers, just like many great stalwarts, educationists, I mean to say saintly persons like Shankaracharya, Madhyacharya, Ramanujacharya, great educated and learned scholars. They have accepted. Lord Chaitanya has accepted. And there are so many others also. And there are millions and millions of temples of Krishna. They are being worshipped by millions and billions of devotees. Still, if you go some Krishna temple in South India, you will find thousands of people always assembled. You have no imagination, you see. In Jaipur temple, the king's palace, within the king's palace there is Jaipur temple. So, whenever you go in that Jaipur temple, you will find at least 1,000 men assembled. At least. If you go Jagannath Puri, you will find at least 2,000 men daily coming and going. If you go to Vrindavan, you will find at least 5,000 men daily coming and going. So, and in Vrindavan itself, there are 5,000 temples. Out of that, only 7 or 8 temples are very big temples. In other words, each and every house is Krishna temple. So, it is not that somebody asked me, Jan, how many there are in India Krishna conscious men? The Krishna conscious men in India, at least the Hindus, they are 90%, at least, all Krishna conscious. So, his form, his form, his name, his quality, his pastimes, everything transcendent. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Antakale cha mameva, mameva, only, and to me. If you simply practice the Krishna's form to see, just like if you chant Hare Krishna, at once you see the form of Krishna within your mind. Therefore Bhagavad Gita says, one who is thinking of being Krishna always, he is the greatest yogi. He is the greatest yogi. Yoginam api sarvesam. There are many kinds of yogi. But Krishna says that of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesam. Sarvesam means you can count as many millions of yogis. But of all of them, yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana, one who is always thinking of me, antaratmana, within himself, within the heart, within the mind, sadhava, with faith and love, bhajate jumang bhajate, means engaged in devotional service. Krishna, please be kind upon me. I am fallen. Kindly accept me. This is yoga, that's all. Very simple thing. Krishna, that Lord Chaitanya has said, Oi Nanda Tanuja. He has especially mentioned Nanda Tanuja, the son of Maharaj Nanda. Because in Vrindavan, Krishna appeared himself as the cowherd boy, son of Maharaj Nanda. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching us, Oi Nanda Tanuja. Oh, the beloved son of Maharaj Nanda. Oi Nanda Tanuja, Patitang Kinkarangma. I am your eternal servant. Now, somehow or other, I am fallen to this material existence. Ainanda tanuja patitang kinkarama bisame bhavam mudho, the great ocean of material existence. Don't you see the biggest outer space? It is, what to speak of ocean? We cannot compare it with ocean. So many millions of oceans can be pushed in this our space, our material space. So, patitam kim karang mang visame bhabam mudho, kripaya, by your causeless mercy, kripaya, tava pada pankaja sthita, dhuli sadisang vichinta. Pankaja means a lotus flower. And lotus flower you'll find some dust, saffron. So the devotee is praying that as in the lotus flower there are so many dusts, you kindly accept me as one of the particles of that dust. So this is very nice. Bhakti yoga. Simply surrender and pray, and that is the best and the highest type of yoga. If you accept this Bhagavad Gita, if you believe in this Bhagavad Gita, if you follow the footprints of great personalities who have followed this Bhagavad Gita, then your life is perfect. There is no doubt about it. Mahajana jina gatasya pantha. You cannot. Everyone is following the footprints of great personalities in every department of knowledge. Even scientists, they are also following the law of gravitation, basing their further progress on the law of gravitation. There are so many laws. How the laws are there, they do not know. But that law is found out and scientific advancement is going on. So, Mahajana Jena Gatasapanta. So, as in the material field also, we are following the great personalities and authorities. Similarly, in spiritual realization, if you follow the great personalities, there are specifically mentioned the great personalities in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you cannot find out who is great personality, the list is there. And who are they? Sambhu, Narada, Sambhu, Kumara, Kapila, Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Boli, Vaiyasaki, Vayam. They are given name. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is a great authority in the devotional service. A 5-year-old boy, he was chanting Hare Krishna. His only fault was that his father became enemy. His father insistently wanted, you stop this nonsense, Hare Krishna. He would not. So the father wanted to kill him, put him into so many tortures. At last he came out successful and he was blissful. So therefore he is Maharaj. In spite of so much tortures by his father, he did not give it up. Similarly, if we stick to the principle as it was done by great personalities, Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narada, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, their stories, their life history is there everywhere in the Puranas. So, Mahajana Jena Gatasya Pantha, we have to accept the path of great personalities. Otherwise, if we want to understand the absolute truth simply by arguments and logic, it will never be achieved. Tathapiti deva padam vijadhyam prasaduleshanugrhita eva hi janati tattam nachanna eva kopi chirang vichunna. The path of spiritual realization is for him who has a slight mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. Tathapiti deva padam vijadhyam prasada leshanugrhita. Prasada means mercy. Lesha is slight. If one has achieved a slight benediction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can understand what he is. Nacharna ekopi, and others, ekopi, those who have not achieved that causeless mercy, nacharna ekopi, chiranga vichirna, for life together. If they go on contemplating and meditating and speculating, it is not possible. It is not possible. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita says, Bahunam Janmanam Anti. After such so-called meditation and so-called speculation, that is also valid. But it takes long way. They are not rejected. But our life is very short, especially in this age. Our intelligence is very short. We cannot perform real meditation. We cannot perform the preliminary activities, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam. It is not possible at the present moment. So, those principles are not rejected, but it is not possible at the present moment. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Harennama, Harennama, Harennama Yo Kevalam. As soon as you chant this transcendental vibration, Hare Krishna, immediately the form of Krishna is within yourself, without yourself. And here in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Antakale chamameva smaranamukta kaleva. One who at the time of death simply thinks of me. Smaran, simply by remembering. Mukta, immediately he becomes liberated. Mukta kalevanam. Japrayati, anyone who passes away from this body. So, what is the result? Japrayati sa madbhavam. Madbhavam means he gets the next body just like Krishna. That means that Satchidananda Vigraha. Eternal body, blissful life, and full of knowledge. Japrayati sama jati. He attains yati. Nasti atra samsaya. Do not be doubtful. It is fact. How it is fact? The next verse says, it is not a fact because somebody is thinking of Krishna he gets a body like Krishna and goes to the Krishna's abode. But it is the general rule. What is that? Jana jana bhapi smarana bhavam tajattanti kalihuram. Anyone at the time of his death, the mind being absorbed by some kind of thought, so he gets the body. And there are instances, just like Bharat Maharaj. He was a great king, but at an early age, he was only 24 years old, he gave up his kingdom. Bharat Maharaj means the king by whose name India is called Bharatvarsha. Not only India, this whole planet was known as Bharatvarsha. Gradually, it is declined, just like recently we have partitioned Pakistan. Similarly, the whole planet was known as Bharatvarsha. So anyway, that Bharat Maharaj, at the time of his death, he had a pet deer. He thought of the deer and he became next life a deer. Therefore, Lord Krishna says that it is not that because you think of me, you get a body like me, but it is the general rule. If you think at the time of your death, whatever you think, you carry the idea with your mind and you get immediately a similar body. That means you are put into the womb of mother to get a similar body. So instead of thinking of Krishna always, if we think of our dog as Bharat Maharaj was thinking of the deer, or there is risk of getting a dog's body. Jang jang bhapi smaran bhavam tajattanti kalevaram tang tameva iti kauntiya. My dear George, he gets a similar body, sada tad bhava bhavita, because he is always thoughtful of that particular body. So this practice of Krishna consciousness is sada tad bhava bhavita. If you always think of Krishna, naturally you will think at the time of death Krishna, and the result will be next life you get a body like Krishna. Thank you very much. Any question?
I'm not sure that I understand the process by which one might be thinking of something in his mind and how that soul is put into a body similar to what that thought is. In other words, how can the soul be subject to what the mind is thinking of?
Because soul is now covered by the subtle body and the gross body. When the gross body stops to work, just like at night, the gross body is lying, but the subtle body mind is working. Therefore you are dreaming. The subtle body is working. So when you give up this body, your subtle body, mind, intelligence, that carries you very fine. Just like the flavor is carried by the air. If the air passes on some rose trees, the air becomes flavored like rose. There is no rose, but the flavor is there. Similarly, the flavor of your mentality, the flavor of your understanding is carried, that is the subtle body, and you get a similar body. Therefore, at the time of death, the examination is tested, how one has advanced in Krishna consciousness. The best thing is, it is said in the next verse, Tasma sarvesu kaleshu. Krishna said, Tasma sarvesu kaleshu. You are transferred to a body like Krishna in the abode of Krishna.
Supposing there is a person who is not Krishna conscious during his life, but at the time of death he becomes Krishna conscious, then what is
He goes to Krishna?
So then it is we can perform bad actions during our life and only at the time
Yes,
of death.
if you are so fortunate, just like Ajami, when he was at the point of death, he had a pet child whose name was Narayan. So he was calling, my dear boy, Narayan. So when he was calling Narayan, he thought of Narayan. So immediately he achieved Narayan.
So don't you think it is a contradiction that if a man is of death throughout his life and only at the time of death he thinks of Krishna, and this means that
No, that history of Ajami is different. In his childhood, he was a son of a Brahmin. He was faithfully discharging the duties of a Brahmin. But accidentally, when he was young, he was married also. Accidentally, when he was young, he was passing on the road, and some Sudra girl and boy, they were embracing and kissing, and he became attracted, and he became attracted by the prostitute, and he left home, wife and everything, and then he became a great dacoit and a smuggler and everything he did. And he had so many children, the youngest was Narayan. So at the time of death, because generally people become attached to the youngest son, so he was calling Narayan, but he remembered, that Narayan, reference to the context. As soon as he called Narayan, in his boyhood, he said Narayan under the direction of his father. So he remembered Narayan. Therefore, it is not always possible. But, therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Salpampi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato vaya. If somebody has executed devotional service, even a little bit, or it may be, it can save him from the greatest danger.
I don't understand. I don't see how man in one life can achieve a level of consciousness that he could sit with Krishna. I mean, don't you have to go through a change? I mean, according to what you do in your life, don't you either have to be elevated, stay the same, or
yes, that elevation you can achieve immediately, simply by changing your consciousness. What do you mean by elevation? A man is called uneducated, and another man is called very learned. What is that? He has practiced how to become educated, that's all. Similarly, you practice, here is the practice, and you become elevated. There is no, impediment. Anyone can elevate himself immediately. There is no question of waiting, because the process of change is going on. If you accept the change immediately, and then you follow, you become elevated.
A person experiences difficulties in attaining consciousness. If a person experiences difficulties in attaining the level of consciousness of God,
yes, difficulty is there always. Even you go to school, there are so many difficulties. But if you practice with bhav and rigidity, you become successful. Difficulties may be there. In every field of our activities there are difficulties. You cannot say this world is full of difficulties. So difficulties may be there. But you have to struggle against the difficulties. And you have to adopt the process. Then your difficulties will be over. It is not that because there is difficulty, I shall refrain from it. No. Adu sadhya tato sadhu sangha tato bhajana kriya tato anarthini. These are process. Just like you have come here with some shraddha, with some faith. Here is Krishna consciousness. Let me sit down, let me hear. This is the preliminary stage. If you become little serious, then you come daily and try to understand what is this. This is called sadhu sangha. Then gradually as these boys, they offer themselves, Swamiji, I want to be your regular student, initiate. Third stage. Adau Suddha Tatu Sadhana Tada Bhajana Kriya. And if he follows the rules and regulations, gradually the difficulties are over. Anartha Nivittisya. And when the difficulties are over, then he gets faith. Tatonishta, he gets taste. Taturuchi, tathasakti, then attachment, then bhava, ecstasy, and the highest perfection after that. So difficulty may be there. We are in difficulties, this material life. But we have to come over. That is required. It is not that you cannot come over the difficulties. In every step of our life there are difficulties. The material life is like that. Padang jada vipadang. In every step there is danger. It is a place like that. Even if you are comfortable in a nice car, you are going, there may be any moment accident. You are going in a plane, there may be any moment accident. Even you are sitting here, there may be accident. So difficulties, this world is full of difficulties. One who does not understand this difficult position is a fool. If one thinks that I am very comfortable, then he is a fool. This is animal life. These are animal things, how I am very comfortable, I am very nice. And dissatisfaction is human life. He is not happy unless he gets the greatest happiness. That is human life. And if he thinks, yes, I am well off, I am very happy, then he is animal. Because there is no happiness here. Full of distress, full of miseries. How he says that I am happy? That means he is ignorant. So difficulties are there. You have to overcome. That is the problem.
In last night's initiation, you gave me my spiritual name. Could you tell me tonight what that name means?
You have forgotten? Madhavi Lata. Why don't you write it? Madhavi Lata.
She asked what it means.
Eh?
She asked what it means.
Madhavi Lata. Madhavi Lata is a plant which was very much liked by Krishna. Madhavi Lata. It is a flower plant, Madhavi Lata, and Krishna and Radha used to take pleasure underneath that plant. So anything related with Krishna is Krishna. Any other question?
I have a question about the taking the body of Krishna after death. You're thinking of Krishna at the time of death, or taking the body of a dog or a deer if you're thinking about that sort of thing when you die. There must be a different kind of a taking of a body, because there's different kinds of bodies. The bodies of dogs and deers and things are not the same as the body of Krishna. Now, how do you take on this form of Krishna?
By thinking of Krishna?
What I mean, how does the soul assume this form? How does it become?
Not become Krishna. It's like you are spirit soul. When you take the body of a certain type of body, you act according to the body. Just like the dog is acting differently from human body because he has got a different body. Hog is acting differently because he has got a different body. So there are 8,400,000 of different bodies. So Madhbhava means the nature. Krishna's nature. You keep your individuality, but you get Krishna's nature. And what is Krishna's nature? Krishna's nature is always blissful, anandamaya bhyasa, always joyful. So, you get a body joyful, full of knowledge anytime. Not that you become Krishna. You get exactly the same bodily constitution as Krishna has got. That is Satchidananda Vigraha. As we are, even at the present moment, we are particle Krishna. Krishna is Vibhu, the whole. We are Anu, we are small. Similarly, as now we have got this material body, if we pass our life in Krishna consciousness, we get our spiritual body, which is not different from the soul. A clear example, just like a man put into the water, is raised from the water and placed in the land. So in the land he is happy. Similarly, because we are spirit soul, we are in a very unfavorable condition of this material world. As soon as we perfect ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we get into the spiritual platform or body or atmosphere.
I have one more question. If in taking on a body like Krishna, we assume a nature,
Yes.
Krishna's nature.
Yes.
When you say taking on a body of a dog or a cat or a pig or whatever, is this also, do you mean literally a body like a pig, or do you mean the nature of a pig or dog or cat?
Now, here, the body and the soul different. The soul is spirit and the body is matter. But when you attain a body like Krishna, that means that is spiritual body. There is no difference between the soul and the body. Yeah, there is difference between soul and body. But in the spiritual world, there is no difference between soul and body.
Swami, are we all part of Krishna, and at the time of that, if we think of Krishna, like we become locked, like mesh in with Krishna, like now we're, let's say, suspended within Krishna, but at the time of death, if we think of him, we merge. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Merge means you merge into the spiritual existence. But that does not mean you lose your individuality. You are already merged in the matter. We are all merged. Now, your soul, my soul, his soul, you cannot distinguish where is the soul. But body, the material body, we have got everyone. But in spite of our being merged in the matter, we have got our individuality. Similarly, to become merged in spiritual existence does not mean that we lose our individuality. Try to understand. Just like we are all merged into the matter. If you dissect my body, you won't find where is that small particle spirit. It is already merged. But still, we have got individuality. That means spirit soul is individual. Otherwise, so far your body is concerned, my body is concerned, there is blood, you have got blood, you have got muscle, I have got muscle, you have got bones, I have got bones. What is the difference? But why you are individual, I am individual? Because the spirit soul is individual. We are merged in the matter, but we keep our individuality. Similarly, you merge in the spirit, you keep your individuality. How can you lose your individuality? No?
You individuality?
Yes, you are individual always. Just try to understand your present position. Yes, you are merged in the matter. I am merged into the matter. But still you keep your individuality, I keep my individuality. Similarly, when you merge in the spirit, Why the individuality should be stopped? Only difference is, at the present moment, the soul and the matter are qualitatively different. And when you get spiritual body, the quality of the body and the soul is same. But individually must continue. How can you stop individually? But that individuality and this individuality is different. In that individuality there is no disagreement. In this individuality there is always disagreement. Therefore, in spite of individuality, there is oneness. So individuality will continue. If there is no display of individuality, then you will have to come back again to this display of individuality in the material world. Because everyone individual means he has got his own choice. If I tell you that you can come here, but you haven't got any choice, then you won't like to sit down here. You can sit down here, you can go out immediately. That's your choice. But if I make the condition that you can sit down here without your choice, or you will have to come here. Oh, I don't care for your meeting. That is individuality. But that choice may be very nice, and that choice may be very bad. That is different thing. But you have got your choice. That is individual. So, in the spiritual world, the choice is there to serve Krishna. Somebody is thinking, I shall serve Krishna like this. Somebody is thinking, I shall love Krishna like this. The choice is there, the individuality is there, but the center is Krishna. Therefore there is no disagreement. Just like in this world, there may be dozens of parties, they may fight with one another, but the center is nationalism. Therefore those parties are not null and void. They are accepted by the government. They may be fighting with another, with ancient objects, but because their point is nationalism, they are accepted. There is the agreement. Similarly, in the service of Krishna, there may be individuality. The choice of individuality may be, but the center being Krishna, that is absolute. There are many authoritative books, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Priti Sandarbha. But generally, if you simply try to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any malinterpretation, then you get all information of these things. Just like here, Krishna advises, Juddhasamāmanusma. You go on fighting, because you cannot stop your fighting, because you are a soldier. But Mahamanusmara, at the same time, you think of me. This is the secret. That nobody can stop his activities, but he can think of Krishna at the same time. This is Krishna consciousness. I have given several times the example that a woman who is in love with other man, in spite of her husband, she is very mindful to the household duties, but she is always thinking, when at night I shall meet with my friend. Apparently she is very busy. Very nicely is performing his household duties. But at mind, she is always thinking of the lover when she meet. As it is possible, why not Krishna? Is it very difficult? Meditation. Perfect meditation. Always. 24 hours. You cannot forget Krishna. Just like a lover cannot forget beloved. So you have to contact Krishna in love. Then there is meditation continue for 24 hours.
Is the Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore, is he nice? Do you know if that Rabindranath Tagore?
Yes, why not?
Is he nice?
Huh?
Is he a nice poet?
He got a Nobel Prize.
He is a nice poet from materialistic point of view. That's all. To satisfy the materialistic person, he is not a nice poet from spiritualistic point of view. We have nothing to do with him. We have to do with the poet like Vyasdev. Don't you see how nicely he has written Srimad Bhagavatam? There is no comparison, even from the literary point of view. He is perfect poet. Lokasya janat vidyan chakri satata sangitam anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yugam adhophaji. Lokasya ajanataha, people do not know this, that to get out of the clutches of Maya, all this nonsense, the only thing is bhakti yogam, and people do not know it. Lokasya janata vidyan chakri satata, the greatest poet Vidwan, learned Vyasdev has written this Bhagavatam. So he is the greatest poet.
Swamiji, well, it's true that anyone who thinks of Krishna as he is dying can take on the body of Krishna. It is not true that if you don't spend your life thinking of Krishna, it may be difficult at the time of death to remember him because of attachment.
Certainly. If you don't practice, then at the time of examination, certainly you will fail. If you say, all right, I shall see in the examination hall, I shall write everything nice, that is nonsense. You have to study nicely before the examination. Therefore it is said, Juddhasamavanasma, practice it. Abhyasa yoga juktena. What is yoga? Yoga means practice. Abhyasa yoga juktena chedasa nanogamana. Yoga means you do not allow your mind to go anywhere else. Just try to engage. Savai mana Krishna padaravinda. Always fix up in Krishna. That is the highest type of yoga. All right, question finished. Let us chant.